This is part 2 of Haircuts Are Subscriptions, but before I get going, I just wanted to start by saying trigger warning to all beginner barbers, as well as experienced individuals. This is not a jab, a stab, disrespect, just real life, real time experience. My thoughts, I figured some need to know and hear, or just be aware of some of the facts about barbering. Let's set the record very straight. I am not perfect. I am a student of the game. So, this is some facts about barbering, which may come off as opinions to some, but check me out. If it's very, too much, somewhat of like a verbal vomit, I'm here to inform, put you on with tools, reviews, techniques, you name it, all things that will help prosper. Oh, and just to keep it super real with y'all, the Cosmos and Barbers are some of the most unprofessional individuals in the world. Very unorganized. I seriously had to separate myself from the rest after realizing this. And if you haven't seen any of these videos, I have a bunch of uploads breaking down everything with trimmer blades, clipper blades, you name it. If you have any questions, please leave comments, ask. For example, I have a review breaking down the Uno 2.0 and the new charger that it comes with, of course. So go check that out if you missed it. 2.0 reviews on the Uno 2.0 versus the original OG Uno. So yeah, got y'all covered. Ready to go? Let's roll out. Yeah.
What is this?
Charger and some new trimmer blades.
So, like these.
Yep. So,
oh, you was talking about
no,
these.
I was talking about these blades. These are the new tight guards. They came with this sideboard, and this is the new tight guards.
Yeah, that's what you was talking about last night.
Oh, the last night, yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's right. There you go. You've been paying attention. You know what's up. Let's roll out, girl. Come on.
Ready, set, ready.
We out.
Who's that?
Who? Where? Where?
Them with the headphones.
With the mask? That's the Breaking Bad crew.
Wright brothers.
Yeah, that's Jesse and Heisenberg.
So those are the Wright brothers.
They're the Wright brothers? All right, we'll keep them at the Wright brothers. Instead of just vibing, like imagine, for example, those off.
No, for sure.
You can tell. It's not like one of those, like it's a science project all of a sudden.
Right.
You gotta figure this out. Like, no, my man's in bad shape today.
Right.
You know, it's either I can say something that can help the situation, or I can make it worse. But usually the person that's having a bad day, they give off so much negative energy.
Right.
It's like this low vibration where they don't even know that they're in it.
For sure.
It's like, yo, I'm trying to help you come out of that. So you can just be here quiet.
I always think about it too.
Talk about it.
I think for me, I've been on teams where, like, a lot of my role has been just making sure the energy's right in the gym, and that's, I think, it's such a small thing, but especially in team environments, and then you're getting narrowing it down to the individual like you, it's funny how big of an impact that those little things have on a whole culture, you know what I'm saying? So I think just in general, like you said, like you can tell by somebody's vibe what's kind of going on, at least in some sense, without really knowing all the details.
Not completely, but just keep them at a distance.
Even just for your spirit, though, I be thinking about that a lot. Like, you can't be having so much involved with your own spirit, you know what I'm saying? So where you kind of get, even for me too, because I'm like, again, not like a bad way, but I'm a people pleaser. Like I like people, I just like people feeling good around me and around my presence and stuff like that, or at least feeling comfortable, safe, whatever it may be. But at the same time, you also can't, when I was younger, I used to kind of overextend myself a lot. And that's a
I
balance.
should definitely post more of the conversations me and the individuals that come through have. So this is like a regular thing, and me and my mans can definitely go all day. Y'all go check out my guy. Definitely get him on IG at that that I just posted. He is an awesome individual. I'm glad to have him as one of my regular clients. And yeah, with that being said, y'all, I'm not in this to hurt, but just be forward. I know that sort of thing nowadays is kind of something that comes off very negative, but it's actually a well-needed perspective. Keep in mind, this is part 2, by the way, y'all. This is part 2 of Haircuts Are Subscriptions. Anyway, look, when I post the content you watch, it's me putting out what I think people want to see or know, because you look around different media platforms, everything looks perfect. People's lifestyles just look flawless. But all I'm saying is everything is only going to be as exquisite, especially just for you. Don't be looking at everything and everyone as if they are perfect. It's all trickery, camera angles, edits. And for the record, when I give my opinion on something, it should never have you look at anything just like me, but please take just a little bit and make it your own. Do not have me mislead you. If I'm talking tools, especially the fact that I rock with Stylecraft and Gamma, on top of that, they are crushing it. So, not to let anything you hear fool you, no matter what you think, I will still deliver with that $20, $30, $50 product. It's gonna cut the same. But the only downside is that cheaper product compared to the one that's more up with the price. It's better used in a commercial setting if you have multiple heads to cut through the day, through the week, and the month. That cheaper one is not meant for that. It's more for self-cut. You get what I'm saying? As I was saying, no matter what, you should never be taking what I say or anything about SC or Gamma as a bias. No matter what, remember, I'm being brutally honest. I love a lot of all these companies other than the 2 #1 giants I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the barber industry, we have many others that bring something different. When it comes down to options, if we are talking combs, guard systems, clippers, or trimmers, me talking about anything you are plotting on purchasing, get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, get them. If you've done your homework, get them. You have to see what they do or what they're made out of for yourself. As for me and my perspective, I'm going to share my side of things, because using different tools from whatever company is a part of being in this industry. And with my experience with some of the tools I have used, because I'm not ever going to make anything sound sweet just for the sake of views, likes, comments, whatever you name it. Like, I'm not in it for that. Like, that, I'm beyond that. Anyway, look, this is a reminder that this is part 2 of my breakdown subscriptions. Once again, I just gotta let you know, I tend to drift a lot. So if you didn't see part 1, go and check it out. I have it linked in the video description below. Last time I talked about why haircuts are subscriptions. This is fact. Stop bargaining. If you can't afford the Louis or Gucci, grab the knockoff. Part 1 linked in the video description. So go and check that out for yourself. I'm going to talk about all the ugliness today, or in this video, I'm going to talk about all the ugliness, why to not fall into traps, crazy elaborate plots. I mean, you can network with colleagues that you think are in it with you to see you win the same way you want for them, but you actually are in a secret competition, which are you are pretty much like clueless to. You know, this is just facts. And maybe something you say out of line, let's say, like, you know, like the elaborate plot, you're clueless to it. By the time you find out what's really up, it's because you maybe say something out of line. Are you following me? They have been waiting, that individual, they've been waiting for you to say something out of line. They will attack you the moment anything sounds as if you're trying to so-called flex, you're trying to stunt. They will attack you with everything that they have been bottling in forever. Imagine someone never having anything positive to say, but just one day loses. It's madness. Some people will have your number or your contact. They have access to contact you. This is why I don't really give out my number anymore. People will have your number just to one day only be negative. It's crazy. It's kind of like some clients just have access to you to only tell you something negative, like, for example, how they felt about their service. Think about this for a moment. Imagine every time you cut their hair, they're always on point, but that one day where they don't come in with their hair prepped or something like that, and it's their fault, they raise hell. Keep in mind, it's never in person, but after the fact, which I appreciate when they're honest like that, but it's a negative thing. It's like, don't text something you could have told me in person. You could have waited to tell me the next time you visited me. Don't text me something that comes off crazy visually, because some people don't know how to really approach when they text a message or when they call over the phone. The emotions that you present when you are in person compared to over the phone is completely different. You know, it's kind of like when somebody's inside of a car and you're having road rage. Everybody's brave behind that car door. You know, they're shielded. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with a text or like a call. But anyway, that's just an example, you know. But, you know, this is the same thing with colleagues or potential people that you may have networked with, you linked up with, and you see a potential opportunity to one day work with them. Anyway, yeah, like stuff like that is wild. And as you can see in this video clip right here, these are some of the haircuts that are the most challenging is kids. So like how I'm saying, clients will be upset about the service. For example, let's say a mother or a father, especially the mothers. Not to attack the mothers. I love y'all, you know, but there's times where you have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the child's haircuts. So it's okay to listen to the expert and allow us to do what we must, because let's face it, kids are the most difficult clients. Not that they are picky or something like that. They just don't sit still. Some of them cooperate. Then there's some days where they just come in without a nap, or they're just antsy, they're sleepy, you name it, whatever, right? Like, for example, this kid right here gives me hell some days. But I love him. This is my little homie. He is probably one of my best, actually, to sit in the chair, be still, and focus up and allow me to do whatever it is that I need to. There's times where we don't need to use the headrest, like as you can see in the clip. And there's times where we have to have him recline back. You know, there's a lot of jerking going around. You will notice that there's a lot of me talking to him. His mother is in the room at this very moment, but I am mainly focusing on communicating and talking to the kid. He is the main priority, and this is by nowhere. Like, there's nothing easy about this. Just want y'all to know. Anyway, what I'm saying is, people will complain about little things on the child, knowing they watched you service this Tasmanian devil. You know, you do the best that you can, only for them to complain, and they complain about price, which in my case, I charge the same rate for whatever service. When you sit down in my chair, it is a fixed rate, regardless to whatever it is that you want, whatever style service you want. If you're looking for your base, like basic, you know, just regular service, fade, you know, goatee, fade, beard, or just a fade, you know, it's the same rate. I don't really do the whole upcharging or whatever, you know, it's the same rate. So, you know, pick what you want. I got you covered. If you want premium service, that's where you start getting into that other bracket of, you know, we're getting into the 100 realm. Or if you want a house call, you want a home visit, you know, after hour, before hours, you know, non-business hours, you got to pay up. I don't do cuts. I don't skip lines for people. I don't have anybody else offering me a big chunk come in and I go ahead and service them. No, you got to just book according, get in line with everybody else according to what I have available for you based on your availability. So book your appointments. Anyway, barbers, if you're not using the online service, some kind of AI in 2024 moving forward, you need to get on it ASAP. I respect the old school way. The old ways are always going to be forever, because there's times where your system will crash. I've had moments where my system for the booking, even my bank account crashed. This happens. We're in a digital era which is supposed to be perfect, and I am one of those individuals that really trusts into this technology that we have. So there's flaws that will happen, but they usually get resolved. But in those moments where you don't have certain cushions or certain things put in place to have that comfort, you know, let's say if you have a frozen account due to some technical difficulties and you're not able to reach your funds, you got to have a backup. You know, this is why we have credit lines that we build and credit cards, you know, you name it, whatever, money, cash on hand, whatever, you got to have that. Now, I'm not just walking around with cash nowadays. So with that being said, anyway, look, barbers, Get it together.
Where to even begin? I don't even know.
Ooh, this one is really heavy. It really plays on my mind a lot because I've been there before. And it's really one of the goofiest things that you will ever do. Unless it's for medicinal reasons, I guess. You know, do what you do. I'm not going to knock your medicine. But stop smoking and drinking on the job. Work out, take care of your bodies.
That's to those who missed the last video.
Work out. When you can, work out. Stretch, eat right, take a walk, do some kind of cardio. I know everyone has a different situation. Everybody's situations are different. Maybe you're a non-able body, you know what I'm saying? For non-able bodies, you know what I'm saying? Stop playing with your livelihood. Just because you can't jump around, you can't take a walk, you can't do this. There's other things we can possibly do to help ourselves other than slowly deleting ourselves. You know, everybody has an excuse for everything. I also have excuses. I'm being a hypocrite right now, but I do my best. And the fact that I am able to say and pass on this message should say something. We need to hear each other out. We need to get a better community with just even barbers. You know, there's crazy beefs amongst the beauty industry, nail technicians, whatsoever, you name it. This all varies from city to city, state to state, but you know what I'm talking about. There's these competitions of, I don't even know. Me, I'm one of those individuals that I'm in a bubble so deep within that bubble, which I don't even know what's happening sometimes next door with, you name it, my neighbor. Now that sounds horrible saying it out loud, right? But it's just part of it, you know. But anyway, look, I'm so consumed in what I do, I don't bubble myself and remove myself from the world to the point where I have no idea what's happening. You have to learn new skills. You have to build what you have going on and be willing to be transparent to take in information. Criticism is one of my biggest pet peeves if it's not constructive. Criticism nowadays is misunderstood for constructive criticism when people give it. It's like, no, you have no idea what you just sounded like. That was horrible. Don't speak to anybody like that or else you're going to get hurt. Now, I have a discipline out of this world. I'm able to take criticism and I fire back when it's necessary because I'm going to correct you, okay? I'm not just going to let you talk and think that is okay. But when you say what you say, I should be able to say something back and you're supposed to take whatever it is that I'm saying with no problem, right? But that's not just how that works. Most people are know-it-alls. Now, my issue with know-it-alls is they want to always be right. That's not the way that this works. This is not the world we live in. I don't know what reality you're in, but stop playing yourself. With that being said, barbers, stop playing with your loyal clients. These individuals are what keeps your ship afloat, sailing freely, okay? Do not play by trying to get so-called customers in your schedule who don't book, just walk in, or are so-called paying extra. It's not worth it. Remember what I was saying earlier? I don't let people just skip the line, whatever. Believe me, keep the discipline. Stick to the daily schedule. People, unless you see it work or fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say a walk-in or call-in just works out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just happens to. It happens sometimes, you know. Just stop being that, you know, like, I want to fit everybody in. You can't cut the whole world. It's just not going down like that. So make your work as best as you can for your clients, as well as the walk-in flow, the call-in flow, you know, but stick to who's scheduled. Believe me, that goes a long way, especially if you have clients that respect time and have things going. People have motion. They don't have time to be sitting around at the barbershop. Just saying.
I gotta add this in there too. One of the most disappointing things is our OGs don't even put us on to what we need to be ready for. They don't better prepare us. They just expect us to just experience it on our own. That's very unfair. For example, common sense is putting a policy in place. We just don't know that when we first start off. But this next one,
not expect, but it does happen. I've had this happen multiple times in many different ways. I've had people be pose as me or be me. Let's say you work at a barber shop and literally somebody will claim that they are you just to get that client, because this client in particular just has no idea what you look like, or just doesn't have a visual description of you. And some people think we all look alike sometimes, got a barber jacket on, all black. I mean, I think most of us wear all black, but anyway, look, I've had people do that before where they will take my client. But now check this out. This is what I'm trying to say. Barbers, stop being sneaky, as in stealing clients by calling them, texting them, DMing them, direct messages via social media. It's just madness. And for those who are not understanding, is barbers play a wicked game when recruiting clientele or customers. It's not that deep. I mean, I have had some wild experiences with some barbers, but generally speaking, this place we call Earth is full of snakes. You absolutely need an eagle eye perspective and soar. Observe from a distance, it's a weirdo show. Working in very negative, toxic environments has been well-needed hard lessons. Nothing but ulterior motive from not everyone, but too many. Especially when I ran my own shop. Before I started getting into the whole background check thing, which I do recommend, if you're going to start a shop, if you care about your place of business, your establishment that you're putting your hard-earned money into, you need to do background checks. Get these private contractors, whatever, barbers, stylists, whatever you want to call them, get them on a contract, okay? Come to an agreement. Have these legal documents that you have as your, this is your security, okay? This is your insurance. Some of these people flip on you. They just leave the shop. Some people will threaten your life over you letting them go or requesting money that they owe, if it's booth rent whatsoever. That's why you should just have everything be wired at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the month, whatever. Have them pay for the week. Have them pay for the month, not after the fact. Have you ever had to collect rent at the end of a barbershop work week? It is the most humbling thing you will ever go through. So do that at the beginning of the week. If they don't pay, they don't work. Otherwise, they gotta go. And the same goes for the month. I'm just saying, y'all. Like the shop is not for everybody. This is why I don't run a shop. Like it's a struggle, believe me. Anyway, look. Look, I've had some very big wow moments in the barbershop. This is the reason why I made sure to create a strong following, clientele that will respect my time, my policy, my rules, my work ethic, my efforts, and everything to keep things clean and keep the quality always consistent. Because there's things about working in this industry that will have you want to stray away from it. It will happen. And I've seen many people quit, but it's just part of the game. It's just the way this goes. So be mindful of how you're going about this, because I've had walk-ins come in. For example, when I used to do walk-ins, a walk-in comes in, we communicate. Hey, I got you next. Give me about 10 minutes. We'll be right with you. Then here goes my neighbor barber, speeding up their haircut, which is going to be a garbage piece of work, of course, only to step on my toes so that they're able to get that client that's waiting, just so they can get that in their pocket. And the clients usually always go to whoever's first open, because it's a first come first service establishment for the most part. That's what we all pretty much start off in. Now, a super random one that I have experienced is when barbers send clients to you so they can take a picture of your work and claim it to be theirs. I bring that up because that triggered me so much. I almost put hands on this individual to the point where I had to calm down and just come up with a strategy of how could I keep myself busy 8 to 12 hours a day. Every half hour to an hour, somebody is in my chair. I made that happen, and it bothered people. And like I say, working next to some of the individuals that I was with in this particular barbershop, they had a system where it was, let's say, 5 beasts. These guys can get down. They can cut. I actually was shadowing one of them. It was nothing that we intentionally actually talked about. It was just, he was like a big brother to me. So I watched him service people, and I saw this man, just execute flawlessly. He had a returning clientele, which was weekly and bi-weekly, that he would keep up with traditional cuts from tapers, fades, lines, just flawlessly. He would move out foreheads within a half hour. I have never seen anything like that ever. And there was 4 other individuals just like him, all beasts, legendary out here. I have definitely never seen anything like that, especially where I am at right now. Now, as much as I would love to keep on going on that, these individuals know who they are because I watched them. I even watched some of the worst, because being in a shop that had 15 individuals servicing different work, but these 5 individuals, it was probably 6 of them to be total. And these, man, it was like a haircut assembly line, They were moving people in and out. I mean, it inspired me to really want to be better, but I realized I'm not the fastest barber. I can move people in and out fast, but the quality that I put out does not equate, or it doesn't come out the same if I try to rush somebody out within 10 minutes. Now, when you're seeing people that come in weekly and bi-weekly, you can possibly do that. But even though I have that type of clientele, it's just the level of detail that I have mastered over the years to make sure that my work looks a very particular way. It doesn't take me too long, but it is definitely a time effort. I need about 20 minutes minimum to about 40 minutes tops to get a flawless service out. Sometimes, it's just the way that is. And some people definitely clown slower barbers or whatsoever, but we all doing a different quality. We all have a different type of clientele. And when it comes to texture and training hair, everybody does not cooperate with listening to you and telling them what they need to do in order for their hair to always look flawless, and that's where people start to jump chair. Anyway, look, enough about that. So I was saying earlier that barbers can be really sneaky, and they will get into your DMs for your clients, of course. How they get all this information is a very sneaky thing. They can DM people and ask them for their number, all kinds of stuff. And some of these clients actually break and they go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that strategy. But it's a lot that's very unacceptable. Like, come on, y'all, do better. Get it together, But, I ran my own shop at age 24, which I believe that's kind of uncommon. But then again, nowadays, anybody can pretty much do that, I have been in the same location for a long time building, this one thing. This one thing works for me, and I've been doing this since age 13, 12 actually, but by 13 we were in it. Professionally, I started like 2013. Now, me at age 13, we're talking 02, 2003, that kind of thing. Like, that's a long time ago. It wasn't even popular for somebody my age to be a barber. The garage journey began because I was simply trying to help my family out and got clowned by people my age, sabotaged by older folks, claiming I was selling drugs, threatened the city and the state on me. Meanwhile, I got OG barbers pulling up, doing drive-bys, showing respect, which eventually turned into envy. They're just trying to figure out who is this young dude in this garage pulling all the clients. I made a lot of noise. All of this started from a simple self-cut. I hustled all seasons in the cold Michigan winter with a space heater in an uninsulated garage. People pulled up. They showed up, and a lot of these people still follow me to this day. They still support. I appreciate them, It's a consistent follow, and people think that comes overnight. It's not overnight. It's kind of like, how I say it, when people jump chair, they eventually always come back. It's crazy, hearing myself talk about the extremes people go to for the sake of recognition or a simple laugh to talk about later, like on how they took your people with another barber or whoever buys into or condone into their nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, this type of behavior will have you question a lot of people, look at things from a different angle. Your own clients that come back, just don't let it get to you. You know what I'm saying? The clients that will come back will say so much. It's wild. Just focus on keeping the right traffic for you. Line your pocket up properly with solid clientele who only want what's best for you. Clients that pay are clients that pay. I mean, they have the money, you know what I'm saying? So keep those people, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, you know, like I want solid clients. I want people that make money, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I got attorneys in my chair. I got doctors in my chair. I have principals, you know, I have, you know, bus drivers. I don't care what job you do, as long as you make money and you're willing to pay me what I'm asking for. Hey, come on in here. That's where kids don't need to be in the shop alone. And kids that don't know what it means to have a quality service should not be being sent to the shop by themselves. Because these parents have no idea what is even happening sometimes. They're not really involved in their kids' lives, and they wonder why they grow into these, who knows, you know. But anyway, I'm not going to judge how anyone raises their kids. That's not even my place. So I'll leave that one alone. But jumping, you know, moving forward, you know, jumping topics here. I said this earlier, a know-it-all. You know, barbers, stop being a know-it-all. Stop forcing haircuts on your clients. Stop losing clients to your BS. Stop expecting BS from clients, or expecting or accepting. Sorry. Yeah. Stop accepting clients' BS. They do come with a lot of problematic nonsense. You know, all haircuts, lineups are pretty much just pushbacks. Let's be real. You know, when it comes to that lineup, you know. Technically speaking, all barbers post mostly highlights. Few post everything good and ugly. Most haircuts, when you know it comes down to it, the process is ugly. Also, to clients, know, like, you know, I need you to know when the barber is not for you. Some people just are not for you. You know, the same goes for, you know, barbers. Know when clients are not for you. You know, some clients have to get fired, you know, especially after you have put effort into, you know, like resolving what may possibly be setting your business up for fail. You know, like you should really get rid of the nonsense, you know, even on your end, you know, get rid of your incompetence, you know, your shortcomings, you know, educate yourself is what I'm trying to say. Also, keep this in mind moving forward. Everyone is not meant to have a shop. Barbers, or, you know, like, you know, just being a barber, you know, like barbers, we can't all be barbers, you know. We can't all be beauticians or stylists. We can't, you know. You got to know when to pull out, you know. Even having like a suite, you know, versus like booth rent, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know what is for you and what's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to, you know, just rent and working amongst like barbers, you know, being a team player is for some people and it's not for some, you know. Like, branding is difficult. So if you have a brand and you create a brand that you promote to recruit barbers or stylists whatsoever, they have to kind of abide or go with the flow of what you have set up. Some people don't want to do that, you know, and that becomes a problem. It becomes difficult. You know, they could be a great worker, they could be a great stylist or barber, but they just don't want to go with the flow. You know, like, there's so much that goes into a shop. It goes over people's head because people don't understand how difficult and ridiculous some things can really be. You know, upkeep with regulation, being up to code with the city, the fire department, you know, the state. We can go down the list. You can really skip the ownership part. It's not always going to equal to success. It's not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Message to those who need to hear this. You know, it sounds sweet until you find yourself babysitting grown adults. I have been there, believe me. Like, that position, it's something I don't miss. Let's not get into that slumlord, you know, that it was just a poor choice of location, you know. Really, it wasn't the worst, but I learned my lessons big time. I was definitely warned about the area and the fact that the landlord was new to this. He was for sure manipulated. I could even possibly be giving him the benefit of the doubt. But the dude, he was really just a master in disguise, a poop individual who I had fell for a whole lot of his nonsense. I hope he's really doing all right. At the time, I was a little bit younger, and I already come off a lot younger in appearance, especially, I mean, now, like, I'm in my early 30s, but back in the day, me in my 20s, I looked a lot younger than 20-something. So, you know, I definitely was far from an idiot, but a lot of people think running a shop will be something that you can kill it. You can win in 2 years. No, it's a 20-year race. It takes 20 years for anything to be really established. Think about 50 years of business. You know, think about, some people can say, we've been 100 years in the game, you know, doing it. You know, I'm not talking about barbershops, I'm just generally speaking at this point. But all these things count, you know. It's not cheap being a barber in general. So things like people who are not going to pay a barber what they ask, you know, it's like service, you know, it is what it is. You got to pay up, you know, or go and pay for that mediocre service, you know, settle for the dirty, mediocre barber, you know. It is what it is. But let's get serious on this one. There's no cheap business, you know. So like I said, there's this thing that people think being a barber is just this made thing. It's not cheap being a barber. You can be just a barber, you could be a shop owner, you could be a booth renter, you could just be a mobile barber or a barber that's in a suite, you know. So things like this will determine your success, and not only that, it shouldn't matter where you're cutting. It's like just your work ethic and how much you're putting into your business is really going to play a huge role. So it's not cheap being a barber. You know, you're going to have things like the barber that's clean, like I said, and the dirty barber. And you have to determine whether you're going to pay to be a clean barber or not pay and be a dirty barber. And what I'm really ultimately drifting towards is barbers settle. They don't invest into their business. They don't do marketing, promo, advertising. What I'm talking about is beyond sanitation, disinfection. It's beyond tools. I remember me and my brother flooding the city with cards and flyers, letting everybody know about me. Barbers just don't do that. It's self-sabotage, and I don't speak for the majority, but I'm just saying. They charge cheap because ultimately they're afraid to lose clients. And I get it. I've been there before. Just step your integrity up. But like I was saying, barbers settle. They just want to keep clients in their chair. Some people, they're just looking for a friend. Some people really want clientele. And some people think the cheaper, the more the clientele. Yeah, sure, but you're working really extremely hard and you're staying dirty because you can't afford to purchase the cleaning items or supplies that you need to keep a clean sanitary space. This is where ugly stuff happens and you start to get weird things happening, fines and stuff. But we're gonna keep that right there. I'm not gonna get too deep because this is about to be some heavy stuff that I'm talking about. And these are those trigger warnings that I mentioned to begin with. There's some filthy barbers out there. These individuals, I have worked next to some people that will use the same blade, the same trimmers and clippers that they've barely switched out or cleaned up. Or if it's a disposable implement, they use the same one on 15 other people through a day. That is just disgusting. It is madness. It's beyond, just anything I can express, you know. But like, what's really up with that? Like, why not be clean? And then there's also losing clients to your price, right? Some clients don't want to see you make money. I mean, I really have done a lot to be where I'm at, and what's crazy is anyone that thinks in a way that I am better, if anything, that should be motivation to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be motivation. Like, if you see me doing good, you should be motivated. If I see you doing good, I should be motivated. I want people to be motivated by me as well as for me to be motivated by them, because I get rid of a lot of people that seem to be a headache. Every time I have ever attempted to just handle them according, it backfires. And what I mean is, if me dealing with a cheap client, if I'm dealing with a cheap client, it works out, you know, for the moment, but it doesn't last. They eventually start jumping chair, hoping that they get a better deal. something like that, or they start spazzing out, just doing irrelevant stuff because they know I can do a certain type of work. And if I'm slightly off one time, which is pretty much like never, they try to find something to just pick about, just to have an excuse of jumping chair for the simple fact that they can't afford my service anymore. Isn't that wild? You created a whole elaborate plot just to get me to say something off, as in out of line, that you didn't find very pleasing. It doesn't sound pleasant. So, I gave you a lot of verbal vomit that you needed to hear, but, that's unprofessional. It's wild. Most people, and I'm talking about barbers, don't be cheap. Most people are going to pay, don't be the cheap barber, and don't be the cheap person to not purchase what you need in the shop. New items, new tools, this and that. Do what you got to do. Invest in yourself. Put money into your business. And clients, don't understand that they take care of you. And the reason why your service is good is because you're taken care of. They're taking care of you. It goes both ways, if that even makes sense. But like, look, it's like a self-sabotage. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not charging what you need to be getting, and if clients are not trying to pay up. So, it's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. But barbers, you have to put yourself up there. Nowadays, I know people think barbers are doing the most, but if you're not doing your part, yeah, that's why people are saying what they're saying. There's a huge, crazy pushback from clients right now. We're all experiencing pushback. Clients don't want to pay a certain amount of money. Times are rough. Times are tough. More people are moving in together and living together because rent is ridiculous. More people are going back to the barbershop because they can't afford a suite. More people are shutting down shop because they can't afford to own the shop anymore. So you can't be upcharging, raising prices because of so-called inflation, which is a bunch of nonsense, because inflation is a thing that's been ongoing for years. But like, yeah, don't get me wrong. It is kind of ridiculous. Some of the things that are happening right now should definitely be like illegal, but it's going down, y'all. So y'all need to go harder. It's all I got for you. You got to go harder. You got to come up with different things, because some people think being a barber is it. There's some successful barbers that do barbering, but you have to expand. You have to do other things other than just grooming some hair. Okay? If you're going to have to teach. But everybody's not a teacher. Okay? Everybody is not built for that. Everyone is not able to sell. Everybody's not able to sell just their products, their quality. If you're pushing an item, a trimmer, a tool, a clipper, or something like that, everybody's not able to do that. This is why I am not biased towards any brand. I use what works. What I like is what I like. If I say this is what works for me, and it may be something I recommend for you, try it out. Take my word for it. I'm not misleading you, but everybody has something that works for them. Now, with that being said, stop self-sabotaging, and clients, stop sabotaging your barber. Like, just, it's horrible, Anyway, barbers are horrible, and this is not all barbers. This applies to stylists and nail techs, lash techs, tattoo artists, etc., you name it. We have people in these different fields in it just for money, and not one care for what the quality of service and experience is. This is why I'm talking about that inflation thing, and barbers taking advantage of inflation and them having a hard time paying for whatever it is. The thing is, people invest their money into the wrong things instead of their business. Most barbers look flyer than the clients that walk in just for upkeep. It's crazy. You spend a whole crazy amount on a car. You spend a whole crazy amount at the bar, at the club the other night, on a fit that you walked in with just to say, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm a pillar in my community. I'm doing good. I'm doing better. This is why clients don't respect us. You literally need to focus up on what the bigger picture is. This is why, I'm actually wanting to do more content with self-cuts and how to go about a self-cut, because I want to help some of those individuals out who are having a hard time finding a quality barber, somebody that they can keep up with, that understands their hair, their anatomy, wants to listen, and is willing to help them moving further. Because sometimes your client won't come back just because of your haircut quality. They will come back, yes, for the most part, it's for the haircut quality, but it's you as an individual. What other qualities do you have? Do you take care of their kids when they come in? Do you talk to their kids? Are you building relationships with their kids? Or are you just cutting their hair to get the money? Because most barbers are getting in this industry just to get the money. Spending crazy amounts of money on irrelevant vacations only to brag about them instead of investing into self as in the business. Put money back into the business. Take a barber expo trip. It's crazy. It is a lot of madness happening. You have dirty, unsanitary, filthy individuals that the word unprofessional is something that they don't even deserve. That's actually a compliment to tell them or call them unprofessional. You know, you have some people that lack knowledge on what it is they do, lack knowledge on the tools they use, implements. They lack self-respect, and that says they don't respect their own business or others who support what, you know. It's really crazy just even speaking on these things, you know, even just to say, know how to help others, you know, like I say, you know, clients want to see other qualities other than just a great service, you know. You gotta be able to you know, to follow through as a person, a human being. You know, it's complete madness out here. You know, to love yourself is the only way you can give love. With that being said, I'm not perfect myself, you know, even though I'm saying all of this. To some people, I'm sure I sound like a madman, but I'm just being real, you know. Now, with that being said, business and how to be a better barber and grooming hair, but, you know, you have to pray. Trusting the higher power for strength. To be better as not only a person, but as a barber or whatever, you know, you have to, you know, have patience. You know, with patience, you have the ability to learn and remain transparent. Pray for protection. This helps, you know, keep you, you know, having a clear head. I notice, like, you know, that you know, like, how can I say this? Keep that negativity out of your life, and being able to know what negative situations are, because sometimes you don't see it coming. It just happens and you don't even know. Pray for others also, you know, because some need it. They need that prayer. They don't even know, but I'm going to leave that one alone. I really want to make sure, you know, you all watch through and don't want to lose none of y'all from watching and getting, you know, I don't want to get too preachy. I tend to do that and I'll drift. You know, for any one of those of you who have watched this far into the video, I appreciate you watching. But I mean this in, you know, like, preachy way when I say that. You know, like, the church, you know, some people are not big on the religion thing, so I'll leave that alone. And while I'm at it, I really want everyone to understand you are deserving of whatever it is that you spend your money, like whatever you put your money into. Do what you want at the end of the day. How you spend your money is what will make you or break you. So, like, with clients or just barbers being cheap towards their business, or clients being cheap towards the service that they are paying for, you know. We all pay bills unless you are just beyond that and someone else takes care of you. Congratulations, you know. But follow me a bit. Now, listen, look, for those, as in the majority, who have bills such as mortgage, you know, rent, insurance, health, auto, home, you know, I mean, I do keep going because if I keep on going about the same thing and I'm sounding repetitive, I'm just trying to make sure that you're getting the message here. It's like, all that bargaining is weak. You know, people try to bargain and find the cheapest deal. Sure. Yeah, you have to do that, you know. But, I mean, if you can't afford Louis, you buy or purchase, you know, the knockoff. You can't afford Gucci, you purchase the knockoff, you know. And sometimes that works in some people's favor, you know. Fake it till you make it, right? So what are you subscribing to? You can go to the movie theater, or you can watch at home. Two ways as in options of viewing, like you can subscribe or pirate. So you can go to the theater or you can watch at home, you can pirate the film. So I want to bring something back up, which is the abundance of options, service, like people have given their customers or clients, is, a fail, because you have these clients jumping ship, as in jumping chair, as in, what I call it, chair hopper, because there's always someone cheaper. All right. Now, before I go further, clients and customers are different. Clients are usually loyal supporters. I said this before in the last video. And supporters, unless they are a customer, as in a custo, is exactly what they sound like. They do whatever, and some of the most problematic people on earth looking for the best deal, like I say, there's always someone cheaper. Okay? But me just like, you should guarantee the quality, which is not the same as cheap work. Seriously. You have those who rush out services for less or take their time for more. But what happens is the trash. Please excuse my bluntness. And all I'm saying is the quality work on the same wage it's a scary sight, Step your game up, Small things like having multiple brushes and combs, everything like neck strips and razors that are disposable, don't be filthy, use different everything for each individual service, if you can help it, of course, I know it's expensive, I know it's pricey, but service, reusing neck strips or razors sounds made up, but I've seen it, To any barber, stylist, nail tech, tattoo artist, service person, you name it, like there is some nonsense that goes into the dark side of what I am telling you. So, sometimes it's just best to mind your business, So mind your business because you are the business. Stand on your business. I know that's a popular term nowadays, stand on business, but don't let the trend of standing on your business have you running a sinking ship. Don't be that captain ready to sink with the ship. I have been in that position. Trust me. Get the life jacket, get in that lifeboat, and get to safer and a better place. A sinking ship is a business lesson. For example, what do you call that? SOPs. I believe it stands for Standard Operation Procedures, quality control. You feel me? When you're in charge of the way you conduct yourself as much as what you produce, follow me now. Fake don't last. You got me? But real is forever. I respect everything. It is what it is, but like how something or someone is just that, Don't get me wrong. I'm simply saying you are only in control of so much. You can be born today and gone tomorrow. You can be born today and die in moments. You know what I'm saying? Like moments later, you're gone. We all expire. We never know when. The time, the energy we spend on irrelevant or, it's embarrassingly wasteful, because daily, every day, all day, you should strive for authenticity and discipline to keep your integrity. It's all you got, To some, your integrity is all you got, but to some, it may seem like a made up persona, like for example, even me right now, it seems like I'm just on some made up jargon, like I'm talking to all of you hoping that you're listening. This is information that you have to know going into this industry and understanding what a haircut is going to consist of. It's beyond the haircut. It's about the relationship you're building. It's about the people you're impacting.
And just to elaborate a little bit more, to go back to the SOP deal, the quality control. Make sure you're not just out here putting out garbage, and clean up your act. Get it together.
You are a staple in your community as a barber, a stylist, whatever you name it. If you are in the service industry, you should live up to what the people want, what the people expect, and what you want as well. Don't leave yourself out, because you are number one and you are priority. So when I say that I have no made up persona, I'm just speaking for self, I'm just being me, standing on business. Prosper, y'all. Post every day, what I'm saying? Use your social media platforms. If you can, post every day, please. Like that's the new word to mouth nowadays. If you don't know, you better act like you know. Stick a card or a flyer in someone's hand, car windshield wiper, car door, the crack, mailbox. But if it's legal, I'm not sure what that goes like. Not trying to mislead anyone. Look into that, you know what I'm saying? I don't really put flyers out there. That's something of the past for me. Like, I haven't really done that. Social media is my major outlet, for reaching out and recruiting new clients. Seriously, unless I'm at a networking event or something like that. You're going to scan my QR box. I'm going to send you to my link as far as booking and what I offer, social media platforms, Linktree, whatever, LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Like, life's made easy nowadays. You better take advantage, don't let me mislead you with certain things, like everything that I'm talking about is just from my experience and what I want you to know or hear me out on. I'm going to try to do the follow-up on this video again, but I think I've talked so long. I hope I still have your attention, but you literally will need to, how could I say this? Stay firm, y'all. I mean, look into everything, do yourself a favor, saying however way your life is going, now, bad, good, decent, whatever is on you. And no one else, unless someone screwed you, it's you who's still in charge, I get not all of us have control over our lives, you know what I'm saying? But, just be the quiet, understated juggernaut, That's my homie Jason Weaver. He'd say that in an interview that I watched him on, Be the quiet, understated juggernaut.
No matter what, with strategy, if you're quiet or if you're loud, it should work out.
With that being said, make sure everything you do is loud. Make sure it's bright and clear HD. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
I'm saying in 4K, whatever quality, do it real loud and bright. Very clear. And I know I say I'm speaking for self, but I'm really being as selfless as possible. For anybody that made it this far, I really do appreciate it again. Just keep on going harder, y'all. Keep on learning, remain a student. Always remember to do continuing educational classes. The further you go into this career, keep on building. Don't be a know-it-all. Learn as you go. Believe me, the payoff at the end of this all is going to be grand. You will have the most successful career. You just have to be able to listen. You got to listen to different perspectives, understand them, dissect them. And if you want to network with other barbers, definitely make sure to have something to offer. Don't just take. On top of that, if you're pursuing a barber career that is successful, know if you just want to be a barber. Know if you want to eventually be an owner of a shop. Know if you just want to be a supplier, or all three of those things. Know your position. Don't just try to do whatever without having any kind of structure, strategy whatsoever. No matter what, remain transparent. Keep on educating yourself, attending expos. Serve your purpose. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Share this video to anybody you know that may find this informative. If you got to DM me for any more further questions or just anything that you don't want to leave in a comment, please
direct message me on all my different platforms. I got you covered. I respond. I'm not one of those funny acting individuals that didn't see the message. If I don't see it, I just don't see it. But believe me, I'm going to respond.